أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرًا ونذيرًا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. My dear audiences, my dear friends, brothers and sisters, and those who are watching through Facebook, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a great pleasure for me to attend this Tafsirul Mahfil, and at the very beginning, at the commencement of this Tafsirul Mahfil, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying Alhamdulillah, all praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, in today's Tafsir Quran Mahfil, we shall have a discussion on verse number 60 of Suratul Kosas. Suratul Kosas is surah number 28 in the Holy Quran, and we shall find this ayat, this verse, in part number 20 of the Holy Quran. So at first, as usual, inshallah, we shall go to the recitation as well as meaning of ayat number 60, verse number 60 of Suratul Kosas, then inshallah we shall go to the elaborate discussion. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أوتيتم من شيء فمتاع الحياة الدنيا وزينتها وما عند الله خير وأبقى أفلا تعقلون صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك. I seek refuge, I seek shelter to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the accursed devil, from the accursed shaitan, and I am beginning with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is most merciful, most beneficent. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَزِينَتُهَا. And all the things which I have given to you as the consumable goods, as the convenience goods, as the convenience assets, as the consumable riches are nothing but the glitters. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. And what belongs to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is the life of hereafter, is better as well as permanent, endurable, permanent. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Will you not understand? Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said the truth, and His prophets and messengers have also said the truth, and we are among the witnesses. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the greatest. O Allah, bless your prophet and servant, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this was the recitation as well as meaning of verse number, ayat number 60 of Suratul Kosas. As I have already said, Suratul Kosas is Surah number 28 in the Holy Qur'an. Here, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a definition of the assets for which all of us are running from morning to till midnight. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has categorically, clearly said in verse number 60 of Suratul Kosas that, O people of the world, you are running towards the money, you are running towards the wealth, you are running towards the assets, you are running towards the riches, you are running for the money, you are running after the money from morning to till midnight. And what is the status of these assets of this world? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly said it is consumable goods. That means the assets for which we are running from morning to till midnight, one day these assets, these possessions these riches will come to an end. That means these assets for which we are spending our all life, these are not permanent. These are temporary. One day this will come to an end. And here the life in this world has been compared by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with by using the word zinatuha, zinatun. The word zinatun, zinat, it means glitter, mirage. The optical illusion. Suppose in the desert, if a people is walking in the desert, deep desert, and he requires water, he is looking here and there for water. He used to watch the mirage. In Bengali we say morichika. Mirage means optical illusion. A passerby who is passing through a desert, it seems to him that water is there. When he goes there, he finds no water, because due to sunshine, the desert is glittering as water. In fact, that was not water. So our life in this world is nothing but as a glitter in the deep desert. Being a Muslim, we must believe that we have been sent in this world by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a limited period, either 50, 40, 60, 70 or 80 years. After completion of this tenure, we must meet the death, and we shall have to go to our Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to our Creator, to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to give accounts of our activities, what we are doing. So being a Muslim, we must have belief that the life in this world is temporary, and it is nothing but a deception, illusion, delusion, deception, deceit. So being a Muslim, we shall always careful about that the life of this world may not deceive us. We shall not be so busy with the life of this world that we shall forget about the life of our hereafter. We must believe that our life in this world will come to an end one day, and after completion of our tenure in this world, we shall meet death, and after our death, in the life of hereafter, we shall be revived again by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to give accounts of our activities, what we are doing here. So we shall always keep this in our mind. Now inshallah, we shall go to the relevant other verses, relevant other ayat in the Holy Qur'an, in other surah, those are relevant in today's tafsir. First relevant ayat in today's tafsir is verse number 14 of Suratul Ali Imran. In verse number 14, Suratul Ali Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ والقناطر المقنطرة من الذهب والفضة والخيل المسومة والأنعام والحرث ذلك متاع الحياة الدنيا والله عنده حسن المآب. The verse is very clear. زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ وَالْقَنَاطِرِ الْمُقَنطَرَةِ مِنَ الذَّهَبِ وَالْفِضَّةِ وَالْخَيْلِ الْمُسَوَّمَةِ وَالْأَنْعَامِ وَالْحَرْثِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I have decorated this world with the beautiful women, with the children, with the vast gold, silver, vast assets, and with the branded horses, and with the four-footed animal and the cross. ذَلِكَ مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. These are nothing but the consumable goods. وَاللَّهُ عِنْدَهُ حُسْنُ الْمَآبِ. And what belongs to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that means the life of hereafter is the best destination. That means we shall not remain busy with the assets of the world. Suppose someone is running after beautiful lady, Nauzubillahi min zalik. Someone is running after the money. Someone is running to earn vast wealth. Someone is running to have lands, houses, cars, other wealth, other assets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, all the assets of this world are nothing but the consumable goods, consumable assets. That means you will enjoy this asset and this will be finished. The word Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used here is mata'ul hayatid dunya. Mata'ul hayatid dunya. These are the assets consumable of this world. And in the last portion of this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Wallahu indahu husnul ma'ab. A true Muslim will run after the life of hereafter. Our only motto, our only purpose, our only aim should be, how shall we be succeeded in the life of hereafter? And in order to get success in the life of hereafter, we must lead our life in this world as per rules and regulations of Allah and His Messenger. That means we shall lead our life in this world as our beloved Prophet led his life. That means we shall lead our life on the basis of Qur'an and Sunnah. And only then we may hope that inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us reward in the life of hereafter. Inshallah, if we follow the rules and regulations of Qur'an and Sahih Hadith in our personal life, in our family life, in our social life, in our state life, as well as in our international life, as per our capacity, only then, inshallah, we may hope, we may be optimistic that inshallah we shall be admitted in the heaven, in the life of hereafter by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this was relevant verse number 14 of Suratul Al Imran, and the next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 185, last portion. The verse number 185 is very big, and I am referring the last portion of verse number 185 because this last portion is relevant with today's tafsir. In the last portion of verse number 185, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. The life in this world is nothing but a consumable goods, consumable assets, consumable riches. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly said that the life in this world is, the word has been used by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as al-gurur. Al-gurur means deception, illusion, delusion, deceiveness. That means we are running towards the life of this world from morning to till midnight, and we are Muslims, but we do not find enough time to perform the 5 times regular prayer. We are so busy with our financial activities from morning to till evening. We are so busy in financial activities from morning to till midnight that we do not follow the rules and regulations of the Holy Qur'an and Sahih Hadith. If we are doing these things, we are running towards the fire. A true Muslim will never forget his destination. A true believer of Islam will always think about his life after his death. He will perform all the functions, all the activities as per direction of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But nowadays, it is a matter of great regret. We the Muslims, we are spending our whole life being engaged in financial activities, being engaged, we are being engaged, we spend our whole life in earning money. We do not have enough time to acquire knowledge of Islam from the Holy Quran and Sahih Hadith. If we do so, obviously we will be among the losers in the life of hereafter. So this was verse number 185, last portion of verse number 185, relevant in today's tafsir, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has categorically stated, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. The life of this world is nothing but a deception. The life in this world is nothing but an illusion. The life in this world is nothing but a delusion. The life in this world is nothing but a mirage. That means glittering optical illusion. Glittering in the desert as like as water, but in fact that is not water. In Bengali we say morichika. Now, relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 32 of Suratul An'am. In verse number 32, Suratul An'am, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَعِبٌ وَلَهْوٌ وَلَلدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared the life, our life in this world, with the games and sports and amusement and joke. And to the pious people, to the actual believer of Islam, the life of hereafter is better, and the righteous people, the good doers, spend their life thinking about the life of hereafter, and they will be the actual successful, because the life in this world is temporary and the life in the hereafter is permanent, and that is better and that is permanent, endurable. Afala ta'qilun, will you not understand? This was verse number Suratul An'am, verse number 32 of Suratul An'am. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 26 of Suratul Rod. Suratul Rod is surah number 13. Here Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Allahu yabsutu rizqa liman yasha'u wa yaqdir wa farihu bil hayatid dunya wa mal hayatud dunya fil akhirati illa mata'un. Sometimes we will notice that sometimes our sustenance, our income is shrunk, and sometimes our sustenance, our income are being increased. He is Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who increases our sustenance and shrunk our sustenance. So whenever our financial position will be down sometime, we shall not be impatient. At that time we must remember that it is Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who used to increase our sustenance and who used to make our sustenance smaller, shrunk. And whenever we will be given vast sustenance, whenever we shall earn a lot of money, we shall not forget the life of hereafter by getting the vast assets from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the assets in this world are nothing but consumable assets, finishable asset, enjoyable asset. One day these assets will come to an end. So this was verse number 26 of Suratul Rod, relevant in today's tafsir. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 26 of Suratul Kahf. In verse number 26, Suratul Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Al-malu wal-banuna zinatul hayatid dunya wal-baqiyatu salihatu khairun inda rabbika sawaban wa khairun amala. Al-malu, vast assets, vast wealth, children. These are the glitter of this world. These are the mirage in this world. That means whenever we shall earn a lot of money, we shall not forget Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever we have been blessed by giving many children by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at that time we shall not forget Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever we will be blessed, whenever we shall be blessed, at that time we must remember that these blessings have been given by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to test us. Whether after getting these blessings from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are forgetting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not. A true Muslim, whenever he will be blessed by vast assets, vast wealth, a lot of money, many children, a true believer of Islam at that time must remember that these are the blessings from my Creator Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And at that time he will remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more and more. And in the last portion of this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if we do good deeds, amalu saliha, good deeds, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we shall get reward, sawab, reward. And this is better that if we do good deeds, we may hope that in the life of hereafter we shall be honored by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shall get reward from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for doing these good deeds. We used to do many good deeds. Being a true believer of Islam, we must bear it in our mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give reward of each and every good deeds we are doing here. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. If you do a little good deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give reward of that good deeds. Next relevant verse, this was verse number 26. Verse number 46, Suratul Kahf. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 64, Suratul Ankabut. In verse number 64, Suratul Ankabut, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَهْوٌ وَلَعِبٌ وَإِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانُ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. The life in this world is nothing but a games and sports and a joke. That means the life in this world is temporary. One day this life will come to an end. And here in verse number 64 of Suratul Ankabut, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared the life in this world with the games and sports and amusement. So, we shall not spend our whole life with games and sports. Suppose a student He is studying in university or college. During his sessions, he used to follow a syllabus. If a student keeps himself busy with games and sports during all the year round, will he be able to succeed in the exam? The answer is no. Because in order to get success in the exam, in order to pass in the exam of the university, he or she must take preparation from his syllabus. So, we are spending our life in this world. We are spending the tenure of our life in this world. And in the life of hereafter, we shall have to appear in an exam. And if we do not do good deeds during this lifetime, if we keep ourselves busy in earning money from morning to till midnight, and one day we shall die, that means in the exam of the hereafter, we will be unsuccessful. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the next portion of this verse, وَإِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانِ. The life of hereafter is the actual life. لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. Will you understand? This was verse number 64, Suratul Ankabut, where Almighty Allah has categorically stated that our life in the hereafter, our life after our death is the actual life. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 5, Suratul Fatir. Here in verse number 5, Suratul Fatir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuhan nasu inna wa'adallahi haqqun fala tagurrannakumul hayatud dunya wala yagurrannakum billahil ghurur. O people of the world, the promise of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is true. What is the promise of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The promise of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that our life in this world is for a limited period. And one day our life, our tenure in this world will come to an end. And after completion of this tenure, we shall meet death. And after our death, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will revive us again in the life of hereafter, in order to take accounts of our activities, what we are doing here. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us that this life in this world may not deceive you. Don't be deceived. Don't run after the optical illusion. Don't run after the deceived life of this world. And many people are being deceived regarding Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many people are not eager to give testimony that Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one creator. That means many people, because of lack of knowledge, they are traveling beyond the Tawheed. What is Tawheed? At-Tawheedu imanun billahi wahid. Tawheed means keeping faith, having belief on only one creator. And many people are being deceived by not accepting Islam. Many people are being deceived, rejecting Islam. So, being an actual believer of Islam, we must believe that our Creator is only one, and He is Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have any partner, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have any son, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have any daughter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have any wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of having any partner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of having son, daughter or wife. And we the people, we have been born in this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of having birth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not born and He will never die. And one day we shall die. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of meeting death. Being a true Muslim, true believer of Islam, we must believe on Tawheed. And many people are being deceived regarding oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many people are being traveling. Many people are traveling beyond the Tawheed. Na'uzubillahi min zalik. So, in order to become actual believer of Islam, we shall always keep it in our mind that our Creator, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is only one, and He does not have any partner, He does not have any son, He does not have any daughter, He does not have any wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not born, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never die. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is eternal. And we must believe on the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on Tawheed. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 39, Suratul Mu'min. In verse number 39, Suratul Mu'min, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya qawmi innama hazihil hayatud dunya mata'un wa innal akhirata hiya darul qarar. This utterance was made by Hazrat Musa alayhi salam to his nation. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, upon him Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the revelation Tawrat for the guidance of the Jews, the Yehudi. And Hazrat Musa alayhi salam also telling his nation that the life in this world, it is nothing but consumable assets, consumable goods. That means the life in this world one day will come to an end. That means the life in this world is temporary. And the life in the hereafter is the actual, and it is permanent. As we know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent innumerous prophets and messengers for the guidance of the human being. And all the prophets and messengers used to invite people on three things. Three things were common regarding all the prophets and messengers. All the prophets and messengers used to ask people towards the Tawheed. Tawheed means oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And secondly, all the prophets and messengers used to invite their nation by saying that I am the prophet or messenger of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Risalat. And lastly, thirdly, all the prophets and messengers used to tell their nation about the life of hereafter, Akhirat. That means our life in this world is temporary, and one day it will come to an end, and after meeting death we must go to our Creator, only one Creator of everything, to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to give accounts of our all the activities we are doing here. So all the prophets and messengers used to invite people towards the three things: Tawheed, Risalat and Akhirat. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 56 of Suratul Zariyat. This ayat number 56 is very famous. Almost all of us used to know this ayat. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I have created human being and the jinn only for my worship and for no other reason. That means we have been sent in this world in order to earn capital, so that we may be succeeded in the life of hereafter. That means we have been sent here by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to lead our personal life, family life, social life, state life, as well as our international life, as per our capacity, on the basis of rules and regulations of the Holy Qur'an. But it is a matter of great regret. We have forgot about the life of hereafter, and we are running after money, we are running after assets, we are running after power, we are running after financial activities from morning to till midnight, and we have forgot about the life of hereafter. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 16 to 19 of Suratul Ala. In verse number 16 to 19, Suratul Ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the same thing I have just said. بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى إِنَّ هَذَا لَفِي الصُّحُفِ الْأُولَى صُحُفِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَمُوسَى. You are giving priority to the life of this world, but the life in the hereafter is better and permanent. And this lesson has been given in the earlier books, in the books of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. That means, being a true believer of Islam, we must keep it in our mind that our destination is hereafter. Our motto will be, our aim will be, our purpose will be, how shall we be succeeded in the life of hereafter? We shall not spend our all the life from morning till midnight in earning money, and we shall not destroy our life of hereafter in engaging ourselves in running after money. Now inshallah, we shall go with some relevant hadiths. Those are relevant in today's tafsir. First relevant hadith is An Ibn Abbasin radhiyallahu anhu An Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala law kana li ibni Adam wadiyan min mal labtaga salisa wala yamlau jawfa ibni Adam illa at-turab wa yatubu Allahu ala man ta'ab. Rawahul Bukhari wa Muslim. The two famous book of hadith, Bukhari and Muslim, have recorded this, inserted this hadith, and this hadith has been narrated by Ibn Abbas radhiyallahu anhu. He said that our beloved Prophet has said If people are given two mountains with full of assets, he will be seeker for the third one. That means we are earning money and we want more and more. We are not satisfied. Our beloved Prophet has said that the children of Adam alayhi salam, that means the people, if the people are given assets full of two mountains, he will be seeker, he will want third one. But those who have satisfaction, those who seek forgiveness to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept their forgiveness, repentance. So, our motto will be, how shall we be succeeded in the life of hereafter? And we shall lead our life in this world on the basis of success for hereafter. Next relevant verse, hadith in today's tafsir is An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu anna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala hujibatun naru bishahwati wa hujibatul jannah bil maqarihi. Hazrat Abu Hurairah has recorded this hadith, narrated this hadith, and this is Rawahul Bukhari. And in this hadith, our beloved Prophet is saying that if we want to get success in the life of hereafter, if we want to be admitted in the heaven, we must work hard. Because it is very difficult to be admitted in the heaven. And it is very easy to be thrown in the fire. That means if we spend our life with games and sports and amusement, it is easy for us, we will be thrown in the fire. And if we want to be admitted in the heaven, we must work hard. We must spend our life on the basis of rules and regulations of Holy Qur'an, and this is very difficult. It is very hard. And last hadith in today's tafsir is An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقال لأهل الجنة خلود لا موت ولأهل النار خلود لا موت رواه Sahih Bukhari. That means this hadith has been narrated by Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. He said that our beloved Prophet said, whenever one will be admitted in the heaven, he will never die. He will remain in the garden, in the heaven forever. And if anyone, that means if the non-believers of Islam are being thrown in the fire, he will remain there forever. He will never die. So, our life in the hereafter, our life after our death is the actual life, and we must work towards the life of hereafter, not towards the life of here, because the life of here is temporary and life of hereafter is the permanent, which have no ending. The life in the heaven will be commenced, but there will be no end in the life of heaven. So we must keep it in our mind, and we must lead our life in order to get success in the life of hereafter. Inshallah, now we shall pray to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before offering prayer, let us recite durood. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma amin. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا رب هب لي من الصالحين رب زدني علما أستغفر الله اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى والله. Some of your servants have been gathered here in this Tafsirul Quran Mahfil, and we have made many mistakes. Please forgive our all mistakes and accept this Tafsirul Quran Mahfil. O Allah, increase our sustenance. O Allah, forgive our all sins. O Allah, you know what is in our heart. O Allah, please fulfill our all good desires of our heart. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.